Good morning, guys. How you doing? Today's activity is going to be a Cornell note section. We are going to be talking about Seneca Falls and how far have we come. So our lesson crucial question is, why was the Seneca Falls Convention important in the fight for equality? So again, please remember to put your first and last name, the date you did this, and your period. So I have a PowerPoint for you. It's really not that long. There's maybe 4 or 5 actual slides of writing. But we're going to go over it all. All right. So I'm going to present here so you guys can see what we're going to talk about. So we have Seneca Falls. How far have we come? Our CQ is, why was the Seneca Falls Convention important in the fight for equality? So leaders for women's rights. Throughout the early 1800s, women played an active role in social reform and the abolition movement. Now, a lot of you are going to be asking this question, I apologize, is what is this word? So let's look it up. And this is just an example of what you guys should be doing whenever you come across a word you're not sure about. So the action or act of abolishing a system, practice, or institution. So the abolition movement could be towards abolishing the system of oppression on women or abolishing the system of slavery, abolishing. So I want you guys to understand that word. It's going to come up throughout this whole PowerPoint. And again, if you ever have another word you're not sure of, please just copy, paste it into Google, and find your definition. So when women, let's go back to our presentation. So women continue to occupy a secondary place to men in society. When women earned money outside the home, their pay was much lower than that of men would receive. Married women could own or purchase property. Women had no voice in government, couldn't vote, no representation. Education and career paths were limited. Fight for women's rights had its roots in the abolition movement. Many feeble abolitionists attend the World Conference Against Slavery. They were denied the right to speak, had to sit behind a curtain, and being asked, "What about us?" So here is a really cool little grouping of very powerful women. We have Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, Sojourner Truth, Lucy Stone, Amelia Bloom, Frederick Douglass, and here's Frederick Douglass again. So the Seneca Falls Convention, if you want to turn this into a question, what was the Seneca Falls Convention? So 2 female abolitionists, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott, decided to organize a convention to discuss women's rights. In 1848, Seneca Falls Convention was held in central New York, made their own version of the Declaration of Independence called the Declaration of Sentiment, and I actually have that for you to look over. All men and women are created equal, and women deserve the right to vote. Issues of women's suffrage, or being able not to vote, was diverse at the convention, and not all attendants agreed upon it. So again, here's another key word that will probably come up, and you guys are having some serious questions about it. I apologize, guys. So suffrage, we talked about what suffrage means, and we've gone over it. I think I might be on the wrong one, so it's okay. Here we go. This terminology, I apologize, guys. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm like, oh man, what's this word mean again? So again, it's showing you what you can do if you're not sure about a word. And you just press it, attending to cause disagreement or hostility between people. All right, at the convention, and not all the attendants agreed on it. Stanton and Frederick Douglass gave passionate speeches about women's suffrage and eventually barely passed the convention vote. So, continuing to work. Who was continuing to work? Could be your question. So Sojourner Truth attended the conference and gave moving speeches around the country about equality for men and women in all races. You have Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton formed the first National Women's Right Organization. National Women's Suffrage Association. The SBA believed, again, that the best way to bring attention to women's suffrage was to violate the law by voting, arrested many times for voting. Now, SBA, Susan B. Anthony, in case you're wondering. The campaign for women's rights began in the early 1800s and continued through the rest of the 19th and 20th century. Now, the following are excerpts from the Declaration of Sentiment. How far have we come since it was written? So, I've actually attached this link for you, and I'll have it separate under instructions, and it actually gives you the whole one. I really recommend reading it because it's pretty amazing, and you can also see all the individual amazing people that signed it as well. But How far have we come? So I have some interesting things to show you. So here's one of them, a grievance. He has never permitted her to exercise or her inalienable right to vote. He has compelled her to submit to obey laws in the formation for which she had no voice. Now, today, women have an equal opportunity to influence political and government decisions. Now, what I want you to do with these is, I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree. Agree or disagree with this statement. So what that means is you can simply just copy and paste this, if you want to, and put it on the Cornell notes. And you can tell me if you agree or disagree with this question. Now, if you agree, fantastic. If you disagree, you need to tell me why. I'd like to hear why in both parts. Another question. He has dominated nearly all profitable employments, and from those he is permitted to follow. She receives but low wage. Today, women have equal opportunities in employment and paid fairly. Now, do you agree with this statement or do you disagree with this statement, and tell me why? Grievance. He closes against her all avenues of wealth and distinction which he considers most honorable to himself. As a minister in medicine or in law, she is not known. Today, women have equal opportunities to achieve positions of wealth and status. Agree or disagree, and why? He was denied her facilities to obtain a thorough education, all colleges being closed to her. Today, women have an equal opportunity in education. Do you agree or do you disagree? And tell me why. Grievance. He was created a false public sentiment by giving to the world a different code of morals for men and women. Today, there are equal moral standards for men and women. Do you agree and or do you disagree? And our final question, grievance. He has endeavored in every way that he could to destroy her confidence in her own power, to lessen her self-respect and make her willing to lead a dependent and objective life. Men treat women in an equal and fair manner. Do you agree or do you disagree on that statement? Finally, facts on women in the U.S. today. Your question would be, what are some facts on women today? So 33 of 500 most profitable companies in the U.S. have women CEOs. Women make up 23.7% of Congress. Women are more likely to live in poverty. Women earn 83 cents to a man's dollar. 10 million women a year are victims of domestic violence. 1/4 of all workers in STEM fields are women. And 20 states have never selected a woman to be governor, including California. So this is a really interesting concept, and I hope it opens up some really good dialogue for us. Like I said, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 actual slides of notes, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, and I need you to tell me if you agree or disagree and why. All right, guys. As usual, at the end, we will get to the end and we will be having a post-it note, and you will be able to tell me why, and I'll even do this right now with you guys watching. We'll move this right down here. Fantastic. We'll paste why the Seneca Falls Convention is important for the fight in equality. I'm going to make this bold because I really want to make sure, CQ, that it's a good question for all of us. All right. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope you guys have a great day.